Suppose somebody says, but it's not my fault. I don't find pleasure in women. My pleasure, he's a man, he says, my pleasure is in the same gender. Suppose somebody says that. And he says, God created me this way. Our response to this is, personally, I'm not going to go into the philosophical or the biological question of nature versus nurture. You know, did God create man, a particular man to be gay or not? Frankly, I don't know. But I do know one thing, that every one of us has temptations. Every one of us has desires. Every one of us has temptations and desires that sometimes are harmful to us. Our religion tells us one of the jobs of our faith is to protect us from those desires and temptations that will harm us. So bottom line, let me give you an example here. So I'm a man, and I have no qualms admitting in public and on TV that as a man I'm attracted to beautiful women. This is part and parcel of being a man, and I think I would be safe in saying that the large percentage of my fellow men would agree with me that a beautiful woman is a something that basically does not allow you to concentrate.
So we raise our hand to that.
Yes, we all. This is something that it's human nature. That frankly, it is ingrained in us. If somebody were to say God created us this way, there's an element of truth. Yeah, okay. Now, does that justify me lusting after every single beautiful woman on earth? Does that justify me saying, you know what, I can't help it, I find every single beautiful woman attractive, let me just ignore my wife and the rights of my wife and let me go after this lady and that lady and that lady? Would anybody agree to such type of logic? Another person will say, these are called kleptomaniacs, they have the urge to steal, right? Another person will say, look, I have plenty of money, but when I'm just walking in the store and I can find something to stuff in my pocket, there's just this urge inside of me, I can't help it. I just want to take it and steal. What if he says this to the court of law and the judge says, well, okay, God created you to be a kleptomaniac, go ahead. What if a mass murderer says, I can't help it, these urges come in me and I just want to kill people? Now, I'm not equating murder with homosexuality, but I'm saying, what if somebody says, this is an urge in me, I can't help it? No, you can help it. The urge might be beyond your control, but then you can cater to it by blocking it, or by channeling it in a permissible manner. One of these two things has to be done, okay? So if I have a lust for a woman that's not allowed for me to lust after, well then, I have to control that urge. And I have to find happiness within the confines of marriage. And that's what our religion tells us to do. Similarly, if a man lusts after another man, he has one of two options. Either he, and there are people, and I have met many Muslims like this, so nobody can tell me this is not true, because I have met people like this. Either he does try to minimize this urge and find happiness in women, and this is possible, and it has happened. Or if he really finds it impossible, well then the only alternative for him is to live a celibate life. Nobody's forcing a woman on him. Nobody's forcing him to get married. It's not obligatory in our religion. But if he finds that his urge is to something that our religion considers to be unnatural, then there's nothing for him to do other than to battle that urge, just like I have to battle urges for women that are not allowed for me. Just like the kleptomaniac has to battle urges for, just like the alcoholic, when he passes by some alcohol and his doctors have told him, or if he's a Muslim, his faith has now renewed. He remembers how beautiful that wine was. He remembers how sweet that taste was, right? Just like a drug addict. Just because he has the urge, it does not justify manifesting that urge. Now, having said that, it's a very important point to make here. Being a homosexual does not disqualify you from being a Muslim. I'm being very explicit here. Just like drinking does not disqualify you from being a Muslim. Just like taking drugs, you can be a Muslim and take drugs. You can be a Muslim and be a homosexual. But we will tell this person what you're doing is immoral according to the teachings of our faith.